think Oshin will potentially take this one.
Clearly very speedy.
Sam's going to tip a favourite. Come on.
So there's just no value. That's the main thing for me, and I do think he is definitely the one to beat.
It's not our feature videos, but our previews will be live. Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our weekend preview. And it's probably safe to say this weekend preview isn't as great as last weekend's, but it's going to be difficult to top last weekend's for sure. However, we've got some great action. We've got some action from Newbury, and then we've got action from Ayr, where we see the highlight handicap of the weekend, which is the Ayr Gold Cup. And you'll get mine and Jack's nap and next best for the weekend as well during this video. So let's kick things off with Newbury. It's the 2:15. It's the Dubai International Airport World Trophy Stakes. It's a Group 3 over 5 furlongs. A sprint to kick things off. Cardem is 11-4. Tis Marvellous 3-1. Hurricane Ivor is 7-2. King's Lynn 7-2. Mosgill is 11-2. Atalis Bay 8 and 14-1. Bar those. A nice open looking sprint potentially to kick things off, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost this race is almost as much of a joke as the names these days. The names of these races, the Dubai International Airport.
Well, yeah.
Some of them are just absolutely they're laughable. But no, it's not really a race that I'm all that excited about. The top 4 in the market are all shorter than 7-2.
Yeah.
So there's just no value, and that's the main thing for me. And looking at all the top 4 of them, you can pick holes in all of them. Tis Marvellous, it was a good win in the Beverley Bullet. I don't really like backing a 7-year-old in a sprint. King's Lynn, I think, wants 6 furlongs. Cardem is as inconsistent as they come. But I mean, the drop back to 5 furlongs obviously did in the world of good last time out. But yeah, it's a very open sprint, isn't it? And I'll probably, if I was going to side for anything, it would be the progressive 4-year-old Hurricane Ivor. We've seen horses win the Portland and then go on to group races. Of course, Oxted won it in 2019. So group horses do come out of the handicaps, and he managed to do it off top weight, which was some feat. The only thing for me is, obviously, that was over 5.5 furlongs at Doncaster. This is, I think, 5 furlongs and 34 yards, and he needed every single yard of that at Doncaster. So he may get a little bit caught for pace, but I mean, he had an almighty race at York. He did at Doncaster as well, so hopefully he can go in here at about 7-2.
Yeah, he was a horse to note definitely at York. I did mention he was a big horse to note, and I actually fancy the horse as well. I think if I had to pick one, it's not a race I'm overly confident with, but Hurricane Ivor would be the selection. I would give a quick mention to Kings. I know you say the horse might want 6 furlongs, but the ground could come up ideal for Kings. I do think he wants a little bit of give in the ground. It looks like it might be good to soft. I think it's good to soft currently. There's a little bit of rain there, but looking at previous wins for this horse this season, the horse doesn't seem to mind a bit of give in the ground, and I'd probably say if they go off like the clappers, I think Oshin will potentially take this one. And Oshin is he's just trying to just maintain that gap with Buick. Buick is slowly easing his way during Oshin's ban, but yeah, I still think Oshin, it's only a few weeks, 3 or 4 weeks to go, so you'd probably still fancy Oshin, probably 5s or 6-ons to win the title at the moment. But yeah, I think Hurricane Ivor would be the selection for myself and Jack, but probably not one of our more confident selections of the weekend. And we'll go on now to what's going to be an interesting race, which is the 2:50. It's the Dubai Duty Free Legacy Cup Stakes. It's a Group 3 over 1 mile and 3 furlongs. Not a distance we often talk about, really. It's always usually 1.5 miles, 1.25 miles. It's right in the middle. Al-Assi is your 5-4 favourite here. I don't think it's going to be 5-4 for too long, because Adayeb is 11-4. I think that horse is going to Ayr. Marquand's already jocked up. Is it the Doomside Cup or something? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Probably going to go there, but the horse is 11-4 currently in that market. Fox's Tails is 7-2. Solid Stone 6s. Bangkok 8-1. Ilarab 9-1, and double figures. Bar those. And if we take a day out of this race, here they come. Go on, while you're watching this, just get the comments in now. Sam's going to tip a favourite. Come on, go on. You might as well do it all now. But I honestly think Al-Assi has got to be the bet here. It's not. It's like you knew. I thought there's no point, because they'll just say I'm tipping a bet. Although this is
Sam. When declarations come out, he's going to be 4-6.
Yeah,
and you're still tipping.
I wouldn't back the horse at 4-6, but I think the horse is going to win. I actually think the horse. I don't like slating jockeys, but I think the horse in the last 2 runs has not been ridden as well as I would have thought. We go to the Coronation Cup, beaten by Pile Driver. Pile Driver, a superb horse. Shame that he's out for the season, but I think Jim sat off the pace far too much and he made up so much ground that the horse ended up getting a bit tired and Pile Driver just battled away. And then you go to the run at Newmarket where Sir Ron Priestley won that race. You never let a Mark Johnson horse that we know stays get out in front like that, and Sir Ron Priestley was always going to win that race. I knew it from the off when they went off like that. I just think Alassi's probably going to... He's a lot better than these horses, I really do think so. And I think he's going to take some beating. And like I say, it's not an amazing selection here. And like you say, probably going to be 4 to 6, but I just don't see anything here that's probably going to beat him if he does go here.
Yeah, I think on ratings he's clearly the best, isn't he? I think he's one of only 2 other horses who have been rated 120 plus to actually come here. One won, one didn't. So he's clearly the one to beat on ratings. He's got a lot of weight in hand on everything else, but he just doesn't like battling. But you say he hasn't been ridden great. I think that's a little bit unfair. I just don't think he's a battler. If you look at like Moha Thef, he kind of reminds... They both kind of remind me of each other. They don't really like getting their head in front unless they're doing it at a canter. And when they have to work for it and battle for it, I just don't think they want it. And the attitude of a more game and versatile opponent does kind of to his detriment. And I think this could perhaps be the case here. I mean, as an odds-on favourite, I think you've got to take him on. Okay. Fox's Tales is obviously an improving 3-year-old, and I mean, considering the only colt to beat him in his last 3 starts is a subsequent Group 2 winner, I mean, you can't really knock that form whatsoever. I mean, they pulled 4 lengths clear of King of Clubs, who has since gone on to win at Sandown in a handy Class 2 handicap as well, and is well back to Ayr in a big handicap at the weekend. I mean, 4 to 1 I think is available in a place. I don't think that's the worst price in the world, but I think Ilarab's become somewhat of a forgotten horse. I mean, he's 9 to 1 now. James Dawes dropped up. That's definitely not the worst booking in the world. But I mean, if you look, he's run twice this year in the Hardwick Stakes and the Ebor, where he was 4 to 1 for the Hardwick and 5 to 1 joint favourite for the Ebor. So he was well fancied both occasions. The Hardwick, I didn't think there were any excuses there. He just didn't run his race, and the Ebor, I just didn't think he wanted to go a mile 6. Of course, he's dropping back in trip now. This is a much easier assignment than both of those tasks that he had at hand. And I think 9 to 1 is not the worst price in the world each way.
Okay, potentially each way angle against Alassi. Just quickly with regards to Alassi, do we think? I mean, you say the horse isn't a battler. Do you think the horse only just stays a mile and a half? And do you actually think, it sounds weird, but dropping back to a mile and 3 furlongs could be very well suited to this horse?
Yeah, it could be. It could almost be like a 7 furlong specialist in between 6 and a mile. I mean, he may just want something a little less of test than a mile and a half, and this could be perfect for him. I mean, as we say, he's clearly the one to beat, but I just think 4 to 6 is a bit short.
Okay, yeah, that could potentially be the price that horse goes off. But yeah, don't worry, Sam Hart's the only favourite that he's tipping up this weekend. So yeah,
is it?
It is, yeah.
Have you made yourself...
you thought in the next race I was going to tip our favourite, didn't you?
Wait, you will. You'll still manage to angle the prices and say, no, I promise he's not.
I actually do mention something in a second, but we'll see. The 4 o'clock, the highlight on the card at Newbury we'll go on to next. It's a Group 2. It's the Dubai Duty-Free Mill Reef Stakes, a 6 furlong race for the 2-year-olds. And Dabab is your 7 to 4 favourite. Gubat is 5 to 1. Giz the Sub is 11 to 2. Fearby is 7 to 1. Twilight Jet 7 to 1. Maglev and Mannequin are 8 to 1 and 10 to 1. Bar those, 11 of the last 12 winners have come from the top 3 in the betting. So you're probably thinking, "Oh, is Sam going to tip up a favourite here?" But I'm going to tip one of the ones up from the top 3. The horse is 5 to 1. That's going to be Gabas, who actually tipped up at Kempton a few weeks back. I think the horse has got incredible form. We go to the Pre-Morney, which has looked a really nice race. Looking forward to seeing where Perfect Power goes next. But the horse in there, the likes of Asymmetric, who has come out, looked really good, has been purchased. I think Asymmetric's actually going to be a really smart sprinter for next year. Looking at the breeding by showcasing out of a 5 furlong mare, I think Asymmetric could be a really, really smart sprinter. But look, the horse has finished in front of Ebro River at Goodwood. Ebro River, has won a Group 1, and also Ebro River ran a cracker in the National Stakes. We did mention that the last one off the Bride, I think he's one to keep on the right side of. And the one thing with Gabas, he won the Super Sprint here. So has the course form, and I think potentially he could be worth taking on the favourite here. But yeah, it's not a favourite, it's a 5 to 1 selection, but I do think it'd be a win bet for me in this, and I actually think it'd be one of my better bets of the weekend, but it'd be Gabas for me in the Mill Reef. What about yourself?
That's interesting, because I was certain you were going to put up Darbab.
No.
Because obviously the form ties in with Masakelo. I mean, we do have to start with him, but I just don't think his form claims are up to justify 2 to 1. I don't know if he's done enough personally. I think it's just everything that he's either beaten or has been beaten by...
Worth taking on at this stage.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you look at his debut, he beat Sweeping and Triple Time, who are rated 96 and 107, respectively. I'm a big fan of Triple Time as well. Was a staying on 6th at Ascot, and then if you look, he was sandwiched in between Ebro River, who of course won the Phoenix Stakes, as you said, and Katura, who's just gone and won the Flying Childers. So that's another great bit of form, and of course was third in the Superlative behind Masakela, who beats Bayside Boy, who's now a Group 2 winner, and of course Native Trail, who could be top class. So I mean, his form claims are great, but I just don't think he wants 6 furlongs. I don't think he's a sprinter. He lengthens rather than quickens.
Yeah.
And although he didn't quite stay 7 furlongs last time out, I just think he's going to be done for speed here. And I'm with you. I think Gavas is an okay shout if the rain stays away, because if you look at his first 2 runs, of course, won the super sprint here on good to firm ground, won at Leicester I think on debut as well very comfortably, was then third in the Richmond. Now if you look at that piece of form as well, you've got Asymmetric as you said, Katura was also in there as well, plus Ebro River as you mentioned. But although Darbab went 1.09 in play for the Superlative, I think Gavas is definitely the quickest. I mean, you don't win a super sprint without having a lot of pace. Hopefully they don't go off too quick early doors and he'll be able to show that turn of foot over this trip. But I think as well at 5-1 he's going to be the one for me.
Okay, yeah, Gavas, a joint selection for myself and Jan. We mentioned Katura there, a horse that looked really good last week, and I actually messaged Jack afterwards to see if he'd be back in that horse anti-post for a Commonwealth Cup. And it's quite funny actually, you can't see it on camera, but there is the Racing Post calendar just to the right of me here, and it's just a massive image of supremacy just staring Jack in the face. And I'm trying to work out when Jack's going to find a Clive Cox horse that's going to win the Commonwealth Cup. So It may come. We never know. We may never know, but we'll see. Let's go away from Newbury now, and we will go to Ayr for Ayr Gold Cup Day there, and we'll kick things off with the Group 3 on the card there, which is the 5th of Clyde Filly Stakes. It's a 3:05 there. It's a 6 furlong race for the 2-year-olds, and we have Irish runners all at the top of the market here. Head Mistress is 3-1, Geocentric 9-2, Mislemaeus is 6-1, I hope I said that right. Scots Grace 6-1, Canonised 7-1, Hala Afmani is 8-1. Hello, my darling, 8-1, double figures. The rest of the field, God, there were some difficult names in there,
no, that was.
I feel like I did all right.
Done all right there.
But yeah, the first 3 in the betting, like I mentioned, they are Irish trained. I don't know whether all 3 I doubt all 3 are going to probably be supplemented for the race, but I'm sure we'll at least get one of them. Do you think we have to look at the Irish horses here, or do you think we side with the English?
Head Mistress has had quite a lot of money come for her, so
I think
she was probably the one to come from the Gerline stable. Of course, Geocentric is from the Gerline stable as well, and you'd assume he'd only be sending one over, if any. I don't know if Johnny Myrtle will send his over, and that means you're left with the English Raiders. And there's actually a couple here that I do quite like, and it does start with the half-sister to Hello Usain, Hala Afmani. Of course, was very, very, very impressive on debut, I think at Carlisle. And I mean, I can't really see her going off any bigger than 4-1. She's currently 8-1, which I think is a cracking price. I think this field is going to dwindle a lot by declaration stage. When the video's out, I can't see too many more than 8-9 runners being declared, especially with the Irish Raiders at the top of the market coming out. I think Hala Afmani, I mean, did it with a great attitude as well, clearly very speedy, has the attributes of her half-sister, and for sentiment, Kevin Stott's on board. Of course, he was on board Hello Usain for his first Royal Ascot winner as well. So I think Hala Afmani at 8-1's a decent price. And also there's another one, Brian Smart won this race in 2016, I think it was, and he brings Lady of Yapham here after winning on debut at Catterick, and absolutely flew, no, not on debut, sorry, on her 3rd run, and she absolutely flew home. She didn't show much on her first 2 runs. She was very green on debut, out the back of the frame, finishing 6th, and then on her second start didn't get the ground, got horrible soft ground, but last time out travelled an absolute dream, managed to wiggle her way between 2 horses and absolutely flew home under her hands and heels ride. Now she's had quite a bit of money come for her at the moment, but she's 16-1. I think that's quite a big price. I mean, 6 of the last 12 winners of this are a double figure price. You usually get a big surprise in this, so I think Hala Afmani at 8-1 and Lady of Yapham at 16s is where I'll be looking.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to be. I actually think Haggis is going to have a good day there. He's obviously got a day. He's a short price over there, but Canonised it'll be for myself. Tom Marquand jocked up at 7-1. 2 wins on genuine good ground earlier on the season. They were both at Windsor, probably not decent races. Now I think the horse will want good ground, but it seems like at the moment up in Scotland that we have got that, and I'd like to hope that the rain will stay away. But the horse ran behind Corazon in the Prix d'Arensberg. I hope I've pronounced that okay. But Corazon has since come out and run well in the Chilled Estate. We mentioned the form there, and the form of some of these 2-year-old races has been quite good this season. It's all been fairly consistent, but a few horses sort of reversing form each other. So it's fascinating to see going towards the end of the season, also next year. And Corazon was only a neck behind Armour, who like we say was fourth in the morning, and Armour's a really decent horse, and a lot of people were a bit disappointed the horse didn't win last week. Looked at one stage, Katura came out of absolutely nowhere as well. I think potentially she could be a really decent price here, over 6 furlongs for the first time. The Sire and Dan, they were both sort of running over 6 and 7, so the step up in trip should be ideal for this horse. I think canonised for myself. Do you know what? I put it up as a win bet.
I don't want to burst the bubble, but I think he's been declared for Friday. She's been declared for Friday with David Allen on board at Ayr. So
we'll have to wait and see.
So yeah, we will have to wait and see. But I think she may be heading to Ayr on Friday.
Well, there you go. That's what happens when you get home, look at the racing, have to wait your notes on, and come film. But we'll have to wait and see. But if not, I don't know what price canonised is for Friday.
Prices aren't out just yet.
Because this will be up. So if not, I'd have to have a look at the race.
It's a listed race as well. It's an easier race.
That's what I mean. So do you know if it's over the 6?
It's over 5.
Okay, interesting. Because I think the step up and trip would be better for this horse. So I'd play it safe with that one there. But let's get away from that and let's get on to the highlight handicap of the week. And it's the Ayr Gold Cup. It's the 340 there, a Class 2 handicap. Over 6 furlongs. Great Ambassador is 5-1. Fresh 11-1. Comanche Falls, Busala, Pop Master, Just Frank 12s. Snazzy Jazzy and Chief of Chiefs, they're 14-1. Gulliver, Boom Shala, Bielsa, Ostilio, and Royal Scimitar are 16-1 and 20-1. Bar these, plenty of horses in this race. Jack, and in some ways we've got a short price favourite for this, 5-1 and 11-1 the rest of the field. A lot of money's come for this Great Ambassador, but I think there is plenty of value to be had.
There is, but I usually overcomplicate a handicap, and I've actually admitted defeat. I am a big fan of Great Ambassador, of course. An Ed Walker trained horse I'm always a big fan of, but he's clearly well treated off this mark of 101 after winning a listed contest last time out. Escapes a rise there, and I do think he is definitely the one to beat. I mean, he's in top form. He's only a 4-year-old. He's on his way up. Bielsa's an intriguing one for me, of course. Ran very well in the Stewards' Cup on his own, which can be hugely upgraded. But I'm not sure he has the best chance on this ground. I think we're going to have firmer ground than he wants. But I mean, if it does get a bit softer than what we have forecast, I think Bielsa at 16-1 is an okay price. But I mean, it's going to be all about Great Ambassador for me.
Okay, I'm going to try and take the favourite on here. Surprise, surprise here. But I'm a bit of a horse that I actually mentioned to you after the Beverley Bullet as a horse, and that's Ostilio. Ostilio and the Beverley Bullet, if you do get a chance to go back and watch Ostilio's run, the horse was sitting behind a wall of horses on the bridle, looked like the winner a long way out, and just couldn't find a way through. And once this horse did find a way through, absolutely flew home to finish 4th. Been put up £3 for that, maybe a little harsh, but I completely understand why they might have done it. But what I know about this horse is stepping up. This horse has been winning from 5 furlongs up to a mile, so fairly versatile when it comes to that. And I think a rapid run 6 furlongs will be well to suit, and I think the horse will be travelling very strongly. You've got to remember this horse a few years back was winning Group 2s. I think the Pre-Wildstein was a race that this horse won over in Longchamp. A good old Group 2 for the horse. But yeah, I think a strongly run handicap should be perfect for this horse, and I think the last win is a bit of a risky bet, because the last win for this horse came in October last year, where the horse finished in front of a horse called Escobar, who I really like Escobar for the Balmoral, if getting declared for that. So another Champions Day selection put up. The betting is not out for the Balmoral, but I've noted Escobar up because Escobar's won it before.
You throw that much mud at the wall, some will stick.
They will, that's it. So I think I've got one now. What have I got one for? I've got one for the QE2, one for the Champions Sprint, and now one for the Balmoral. There we go. I'll have 3 of them. But if Escobar's won it before and I was on him that day, and I'm hoping that potentially he'll go back there. But I have a feeling 16-1 about Ostilio might not be the worst bet in the world. You're probably going to get 6-7 places with some bookmakers for this race on Saturday. But yeah, he might be my nap of the weekend, each way nap of the weekend. So yeah, that's going to be it, and it is the end of our preview. So we are going to go on to the nap. So my nap will be Ostilio each way in the Ayr Gold Cup, and my next best will be Gabas. A win bet on Gabash, yeah, nice. It'd be a nice double, wouldn't it? 16 to 1, 5 to 1. You could play that as a nice each way double potentially. But that'll be my nap and next best surprise. Not anything, usually I tip up something short than 2 to 1 for my nap or next best. Not even either of them are. So there we go, 2 nice prices from me. What about yourself?
It's not really a nappable kind of week, personally. But I think Hala Athmani, if you can get anything above 5 to 1 for her after declarations for the Firth of Clyde Stakes, I think that's a good enough price. I think there could be a little bit of an upset on the cards there away from the Irish Raiders. And also great ambassador I'm going to do for the Ayr Gold Cup as the next best. I think 5 to 1 isn't the worst price in the world. Yes, it's a big field handicap, but I think he's very progressive and off a reasonable mark.
There we go, our naps and next best for the weekend. And talking about declarations that Jack mentioned there, we are only probably just over a month away where we've been discussing it. We are going to start to go live for all of our previews. Not our feature videos, but our previews will be live, and that will come just after the Breeders' Cup. We've got a live event, and we'll probably be telling you more about that in the coming weeks. But yeah, we'll be shooting probably on a Thursday night. Will probably be perfect. We'll have the declaration, especially for the Saturday, which will be ideal. So we can have the live prices there, and we can actually discuss who's actually going to be running. Because sometimes we come on here, we tip a horse up, and it will be 25 to 1, and when the declarations come out, it's 8 to 1, and people haven't had time to get on. So yeah, once we go live, we will let you know, and we'll keep you updated with that over the next coming week. Let us know in the comments your nap of the week, and let us know who you're going to be on. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you on Tuesday for our feature video. Thanks for watching.